people coming on who are in within the truth community. They come on and share their story and talk about how they've beaten their addiction. Because I have beaten my addiction. I had quite a bit of few addictions that I have conquered over the past few years, me and my wife, and now we're just flipping that energy and putting it back in the ether for good. So check it out, mellowdome.live. Peace and love.
Excellent stuff. Excellent stuff. I'm ashamed to say that I started screen recording late for the YouTube, so I apologize for that. I didn't catch the full plug. If you want to do it again a little bit later, that's cool too. And we got some more people in here. Right now, we just got 12 people. That's fine. We're gonna get that boosted up here in a second. Look at the rounded horizon. See, it's round. That's obviously sarcasm, right? Square Earth. Nice. Anybody got like real evidence for the flying spinning space ball? I mean, it's not much of a debate if it's just a bunch of echo chambers here. So
Yeah, the oceans are flat because Earth is a sphere.
makes total sense. That's how you know it's scientific. According to Elon Musk, you can tell. I love that quote. You can tell it's real because it looks so fake. This is like, yeah, just look at the real thing, and then just think about the fake thing for just like 10 minutes. If you're real on the fence about it, just think about it for like 10 more minutes. It'll come to you. I promise. All right, let's see here. Maps are square, Earth is round, and so is the moon and all the other planets. Gee, come on. So you got this. Are you familiar with the term logical fallacy? Because that's basically what that is. As Dave Weiss likes to say, you're judging the shape of the floor based on the shape of the lights in the ceiling, which it's just dumb. If you took a backwards approach to this, if someone didn't tell you that the Earth was a ball and that the way we know it's a ball is because all the other stuff in the sky is balls, you would never have come to that thought. So definitely pick through your head and make sure that your beliefs are your own.
Bro, I like your style, bro.
I appreciate it. Yeah, I'm still pretty new to this, so I'm still kind of figuring out a few things. But the more I get comfortable, let my personality just kind of come out, um, the more fun I think we'll have. So, but my family, and everybody that knows me thinks I'm a major smartass. So that's gonna be fun. If the floor wasn't flat, my feet would know it. Trust me on that one. Ah, nice. Well, I'm sorry I confused you for the other side then. So we still have no globe earthers in here. If anybody in the comments, if you're a globe earther, just put hashtag globe earth. Go ahead and go ahead and get it out there. Who in here actually believes that we're on a flying spinning space ball? If this were an auction, we'd just be putting a whole bunch of shit back on the shelf. My God. No takers, no Globers. Well, we got 9 people in here and we got 6 shares. So if we can get 3 more shares, let's share the
How long
love.
have you, how long have you been doing this?
I just
This
started
not
doing this maybe a month ago.
the flat Earth versus round Earth.
Oh no, this is something I just started doing.
Okay, all right.
So this is the second one that I've done.
Oh, those once they catch wind of you doing this, some of them will come over here.
For
We can
sure.
get one of them to come.
We got a question in here. What is the whole flat Earth argument? I've honestly never heard it. Mello, you wanna take this one?
Yeah, sure. So the whole flat Earth argument is basically I'm going to tell you from my perspective, I think there's two major arguments. No measurable curvature, which can never be found. This is globe math. This is the heliocentric model math. 8 inches per mile squared is the formula used to find curvature, to find the drop, if you will. And well, people go looking for it, and we're seeing way too far. We're seeing objects that should be hidden by Earth curve. Um, 70% of the Earth is covered in level water. You want to get into the properties of water. Takes the shape of its container, and the surface levels off. Surface of water always lays flat. And another thing is we obviously are not moving. We do not feel any motion at all. Never have, never will. They claim many vectors at the same time, which we would absolutely feel that. We feel acceleration, and they claim there's different speeds based on different orbits, whether it's around the sun or through the Milky Way. And none of that has ever been proven. Even the whole Big Bang was brought up by a Jesuit priest originally. And now all these globe zealot scientists are pushing that. That was originally brought up by a Catholic priest. So when you look into all this information that we weren't taught in school, and then you look into NASA's mess and the debacle that they are with all the lies and the CGI, just all the fakery, even hairspray and perms for the women in this supposed ISS. The whole thing is just a huge laughing joke. And now I'm at the point where I don't know where I live, but I do know I don't live on a spinning water ball in a space vacuum. I will say that I am stationary and grounded, and I do think the luminaries above us, whether you want to think they're physical objects or not, they are revolving all around us, and we are the center of the universe, if you will.
Awesome. So we got two more questions from the same guy. Probably just got to dispel some of the common myths. Are we a flat floating in a sphere? And how about gravity? So I'll go ahead and address that for you. No, I don't think. I don't think there are many flat earthers who genuinely believe that we're, a flat planet in the universal model that has been supposed. So it's not like we're that pancake floating in space, still going around the sun and all that, and the sun isn't super duper far away. Um, it's relatively close. So I guess I would have to see a picture of your explanation. So
Well,
Matt, have you ever seen a
asking
dinner
for
plate?
a picture, but you don't. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, man.
Oh, you're all right. Go ahead.
Let me just say this because you're asking for a picture, but I mean, when you go looking into it, NASA even admits this. There are no real pictures of Earth. Every picture that you've seen of Earth is actually just composite images brought up by so-called data. Actually, the Mr. Blue Marble, the man who made the picture, the blue marble, said it himself. He says it's photoshopped because it has to be. So
And they still use that in the schools textbooks. The government does of all the worlds keeps us from walking off the edge. You can't go past the 60th, is it the 60 or 65th degree parallel south? You can't go past that, otherwise you literally get turned around by battleships. That's not a conspiracy theory, that's fact. They're actually, I can't remember their names, who actually took the boat out there and verified that. So that did get verified. Um, Flat Earth, a firmament dome, like a planetarium,
think of
possibly.
it think of it as the shoreline instead of an edge. It's just the shoreline of our world. South is out, and the outer perimeter is Antarctica. Antarctica is not a continent on the bottom of a ball. Antarctica is actually the shoreline of our world. And what's beyond all that ice and all that so-called Antarctica, we don't know. I think there could be more land. I don't necessarily subscribe to an edge, um, but others do. And I think the whole idea is they're hiding more land and more resources, and they think that we're in this finite ball with a limited amount of resources, and one day it's all going to die.
Is that what Admiral Byrd ran into? I mean, quite possibly. We don't really know for sure exactly what happened with Admiral Byrd. I mean, we have his story, but at the end of the day, we don't have verification that the story is true. But what we do know is that we're not allowed to investigate Antarctica, and that's a huge problem. Um, it should be fairly straightforward to just, especially if they're talking about how dangerous the flat Earth theory is and how anti-scientific it is. Just let us go explore Antarctica, and then, I mean, a lot of flat earthers would probably be satisfied with that. But yeah, the fact that there's no measurable curvature is still a huge hurdle for the globe to get around. They try to invoke magical bendy light, but it's just not really something you see in reality. So, I mean, unless of course you're talking about the super looming refraction on the long distance, that's the only time that it can be invoked. So, my guess is that that's probably just
Yeah,
not
let me
real.
say let me respond to the whole because people are saying you can go to Antarctica because yeah, you can. There's certain spots, but you can't freely travel to Antarctica and just show up on any shore whenever you want. You can't do that. You will be stopped. There's certain places you can go to that are controlled, and then you can't even go out and leave, wander off from those places. I mean, even the idea of doing that, that's such a treacherous place. I mean, just getting there would be an obstacle, but you will be stopped. There's reports, you can look into it. There's a man that was given permission by his country and then went, got stopped, got arrested by the UN. So the Antarctic Treaty is still in effect. You can look that up. It's a real thing. You know,
Absolutely. We got some great comments in here. Antarctica Treaty and COVID proves that all countries working together. Hashtag Jack's allies. Nice. And Sue got this. Learn circumnavigation. Yeah, you can circumnavigate around the uh, dinner plate. You can go around your neighborhood, and it doesn't make your neighborhood a sphere, if that makes sense.
exactly. I circumnavigate the block I live on when I walk with my family. We circumnavigate our neighborhood. That means a circle, not a ball. Circle, because east and west are circles, and equator is actually a circle, and it follows the same. The sun follows in between the tropics over the equator. It's a beautiful timepiece. We live in a clock. Tick tock. We live in a clock.
Absolutely. Is Saturn a pancake too? No, Saturn's a light in the sky. So.
Energy points, possibly linked to chakras, maybe. Who knows? I think they influence us in certain ways metaphysically. And I think it is a part of the earth looking up. I don't think that's like another place you can go to. I believe this is one huge earth system that we live within. And, the sun counts the hours and days, the moon counts the weeks with its phases, and the months, and then the stars go around and reset every year. We go. It's a huge timepiece that we're living within. It's
Right.
yeah, it's pretty peaceful. It's a lot less. The space was terrifying to me growing up, dude. I was fascinated by it, but the idea of ever going to it was just terrifying, man. And this just it's you feel more grounded when you come to these certain truths. And I questioned all of these. I mean, people say that we're not questioning, we're not challenging anything, or we're not changing our minds. We did change our minds. We absolutely did change our minds and challenge our beliefs. We were all literally raised in this, and then we were
Really
brought
going
certain
with it.
information. Yeah, and it caused us to change our minds. We had to stay honest with ourselves. Some people choose not to be, and others just choose not to look into it. And then with the programming, I mean, like, people want to mix two cosmologies together. And another thing is, I thought I knew where I lived. But then when you look into this and you actually learn the heliocentric model, things that we weren't even taught in school that are absolutely ridiculous, like, people are defending a model they don't even truly understand. So,
Absolutely. My favorite thing when you corner when you actually corner somebody who's like asking about the flat earth and you start making a whole bunch of sense, there's only two responses that you get. It's either, nah, I just don't get it. I just don't agree with you. Okay, well, if that's the case, then go ahead and provide your best evidence, and we'll go from there. But if you're being intellectually honest, I mean, I don't see how you can't get the idea that we're seeing further than the geometric horizon should allow. I mean, what's so complicated about that? That's an obvious nail in the coffin proof. And any explanation of that is obvious BS. It's not, they don't have a good explanation for it. Um, I was a Glober until I tried to disprove. Yep, that's how we all are, Chris. As soon as we go to disprove it, we end up joining the ranks. So here you are. If you want to remain intellectually honest, then you got to look into this stuff. The other response that you'll get, of course, is, well, I just don't see why it matters. It's just like, okay, well, just understand that that's your ego coming out to protect you from the fact that you just got proven to your face that you were fooled, and your ego has to come forward to protect you from that, because this is a monumental lie. If you don't think it matters that the entire nature of the universe in which you live was lied to you about, and very purposefully, I might add. You can look into the writings of Kepler and these scientists. They say we have to avoid, even though all the experimental data shows it, we have to avoid the horror of a unique position in the universe. So we'll invoke dark matter and expanding universes and Big Bang theories. And it's really funny because it really does all boil down to getting rid of a creator however they can. I don't know why they're so threatened or intimidated by that idea. um, and I'm, not necessarily talking about the Christian creator either. I don't subscribe to a mainstream religion, but I mean, it should be pretty obvious to see that when you look that you're the center of all creation. Um, it's bigger, much bigger and greater questions start opening up. The scheme of it all, we are kept blind by the deep state. No, the mathematics wouldn't work. Oh, nice. Do we got a Globy in here now? Anybody want to jump in the box? My goodness, I thought we were gonna have almost an echo chamber the whole time. Antarctica has been circumnavigated by boat. Yeah, and it took like 90 days.
Anyone can be a scientist. Just follow the scientific method, and then boom, you're a scientist. You know, we're not claiming to be scientists. It's just, you know, talking about, let's try to challenge each other's beliefs. We think differently. We want to get, we're trying to educate at the same time, but keep it constructive. I would assume, that's the vibe I got from you, anyways.
For sure. Yeah, you definitely don't have to be a scientist to ask basic questions and to try to reason. It's every man's right, it's every person's right to reason and challenge things. So many scientists coming to intelligent design. Oh yeah, even if you're not a flat earther, there's a ton of scientists that are behind the intelligent design theory. So that's not even an out there idea. 60,000 miles by Captain Cook. Absolutely. Don't forget Magellan too. Magellan had it clocked like 50,000 miles, somewhere around there. I'm probably a round earther.
Yeah, math is a
Go ahead.
math is a language. Like, you can lie with math. So I can, science and the math can work down here on Earth, but then when they're applying to things in the sky that we can't go to, they can throw any equation to that and make it work. As long as the math works out, then it must be real. Well, I can give you an equation that can explain how Superman can fly, but we don't see Clark Kent in the air anywhere. That doesn't mean he's really doing that. But yet there's equations out there that can explain how that dude can fly. So it's just a language, and you can lie with a language.
Oh yeah. Imagine this. For those of you who are like super science minded and think that all this stuff is super dumb, you probably also think that spirituality, like the New Age movement and all that stuff, is dumb too, and like the people who claim that they can levitate and all that kinds of stuff. What if those people had a name for the thing, which they do, but what if they had math behind it and they could actually work out the equation behind how much meditation gave them so much spiritual power? And then they could present that to you in a scholarly formed article. And then when you said, well, there's no way that you could levitate or fly, They simply present you with their scholarly paper that was okayed by all the other people in their community that are also of that same field. And then I mean, what, are you just going to accept it based on the math that they can fly? Come on, man. Just the mathematics is not necessarily reality. It can represent reality, but it has to be scrutinized first. And the fact is that the globe model is a pseudo-scientific belief. It has not been ran through the scientific method at all. There was no observation, isolation of a variable, and repeatability in any of the things necessary for the claims to be true. Jim wants them to lose their minds. That's a good one. Yeah, a lot of people can't handle the flat Earth truth. Brondo has electrolytes. Is that a plug? I don't get it. Guys, we have 9 people in here and we got 6 shares. Let's go ahead and get 3 more shares out there. We got to get some globe earthers in here to try to give some science, try to defend the spinny ball earth belief and not just debate it on feelings. Because honestly, I mean, if I wanted to do stuff like that, I'd go debate Christians on which religion is the truest one.
Yeah, that. No, man, I don't even want to comment on that. don't even get don't even get me on that, dude. That's a yeah. That can get toxic, man.
It can. It can. I'll just leave it at this then. As far as like religions go, I think if you are a truther and you've come to the point that you understand that the powers that be have been lying and have been covering things up and trying to steer certain worldviews, if you don't think that mainstream religions are a part of that steered worldview, I mean, in a way, I think you're a little bit more delusional than the atheists because at least the atheists are trying to be consistent. They're trying with all their power to disprove God. But in the truth community, we got basically people trying to have the cake and eat it too, and trying to subscribe to control mechanisms. The gun argument, if you will, people have all kinds of opinions on what you should and shouldn't do, but just remember if you got people who are telling you that something's really, really, really bad, and you really shouldn't do it unless, of course, we're talking about like the objective bad. But if you got something that is not objectively morally bad, and you got just a whole bunch of people telling you it is, you should look into it and be like, wait a second, what's going on with that? These people don't want me meditating. These people don't want me astral projecting. What the heck?
Yeah, if it's triggering people, it's probably something you should look into. And I the thing is like when people will assume that you deny some type of creator or whatever you want to call it when you question certain things. Well, the King James Bible, completely grabbled, written by a Freemason. It's been rewritten hundreds of times, and you bring up other cultures that I like looking into and other ancient civilizations and stuff like that. It it's the same to me. It's the same sometimes. Like in schools, it was if it's not in the textbooks, then it's not up for discussion. And a lot of times, I see a certain select few people in the truth community and others that it's like if it's not in the Bible, then it's not up for discussion. And that you just put yourself in another box. We're trading one dogma for another dogma, and the mainstream gets you from both aspects. They can get you with deep space atheism stuff or Catholic churchian, Bible thumping, believe whatever the pastor says on the podium, system. They got you from both aspects. They got so many psyops coming out there. Everyone is either on psych meds or psyops.
Oh, nice. Sue got this. I projected with another person who confirmed it. Thought I was dreaming, then rolled over. Nice. I've had a crazy astral projection experience as well. The crazy thing about that is that Um, oh, hold on. I got to get back on topic. The Earth is round. The Watcher. You want to jump in the box, bro? We got some ignorant knuckle draggers here that believe that the Earth is flat, and we need to be saved from this ignorant belief. So go ahead and jump in the box and science us, bro. Nice. Lucid dreams are awesome. I wish that's something that I want to practice a little bit more. I've done it. I had a brief moment of in my life where I absolutely needed to do it because I was going through some stuff, and I had looked into like self therapy, and that was one of the best self therapies was learning how to lucid dream. So I picked that up. I did it for like a week, and then once I was through my stuff, I put it back down, and then I just always was busy with something else. I'm a Sagittarius, so I'm always like moving around and picking up different shit. So everybody in the chat, if you haven't done so already, go ahead and drop it. Globe Earth or flat Earth, which side are you on? We really need some globe Earthers in here, so please share the show. It's not much of a debate if we have just a whole bunch of flat earthers. Looks like Sue got this was going to be piecing out here earlier. Might stick around though, who knows? But you got to jump in the box. You know, don't know if you got 1,000 followers or not, but if you do, jump on in. Let's have a friendly, respectful discussion. Talking snake, yeah, that's a whole bunch of esoteric stuff too. Talking snake is the snake in every other ancient religion was a symbol of truth, and um, then a certain group came along and decided that they were going to make it the sign for evil. So I'm not going to point any fingers. Alrighty, just letting these people in comments roll in, share the show. Um, we really got to get some opposition in here. I have still yet to hear a globe argument that even really made me think, like really hard about it. Um, Everything that's come up so far has been pretty easy to dismiss with just a little bit of thought. So, and I love the whole, well, you don't do the experiment yourself. I'm not the one with the positive claim. You guys are. The positive claim is that we're a flying space ball because if you look around, we don't feel the motion, we don't see the curvature. It's obviously and observably flat. So, with that in mind, the burden of proof becomes on those claiming that it's something different than that. So, let's go ahead. People all around the world believes that. That's supposed to be like a turn phrase. You can go around the neighborhood, doesn't make it a sphere. Just saying. And if you're a flat earther, well,
Everyone must be flat earthers then. Job's done. Everyone's a flat earther.
shit.
No more
Everyone's-
globe.
well, man, I love the flat Earth topic though. That's a bummer. Got to it super late. I thought there was only like
I
sixty
felt like that
thousand blue
too.
dots on the flat Earth Sun Moon app, so they got to be out there.
Yeah, that's a good app. So how when did you first hear about flat Earth?
So very first heard about flat Earth in I think it was 2014. Like I was one of those guys. I'm gonna be completely honest. It's really really funny, but if you can picture it, a dude with like long hair, like down to here, smoking hella weed in my parents' backyard, in a tent. And I'm just listening to a whole bunch of conspiracy stuff. I'm listening to Alex Jones. I'm listening to, um, I can't even remember all the channels, but the first channel that I saw that come up was Matt Powerland, and he was doing the painting, and it was his real or photo video that he did. I don't even know if it's still out there. It's been a long time since I've looked at Matt Powerland.
Yeah, where he's like smoking a cigarette and shit like that.
Yeah, and
He's
and
like,
then
really?
and then shortly after that, he does the one where he's painting on the mural on the sidewalk.
Yep, yep, yep.
Oh yeah, that got me thinking about it. And I think the way that he did it was really good. The how would you know, if you really thought about it. And the truth is that you don't know. You're taking people at their word, and that's no better than a religion. And so anyway, yeah, I found Matt Powerland, and I didn't like do a whole bunch of following, but literally shortly after that, I found Jeranism, and Jeranism really took me through the crash courses of a lot of the stuff. Neil deGrasse will not debate flat Earth. That's absolutely correct. That's because he knows he's going to get stomped and he's not going to have a job after that. So he's probably smart for
Yeah,
doing that.
I've been following Jeremy for a while. He's been crushing.
Oh yeah,
Uh, yeah, he's done things, man, bro. NASA is such a joke. That's just all I'm gonna say. It's and so much of his content has been taken down because I feel like a lot of it was so damning. Like it's hard to find any of his old good stuff because before he was going live, he was putting out like banging videos, destroying NASA. It
oh
was
yeah.
great.
I did I can't remember how many years ago, but I started it. But I do another Instagram channel called Green Screen Earth, and it has basically like a children's cartoon Earth. It's got like a really cheesy smile on it, so it's like it looks like it's trolling, and that's why I picked it. And the bio was like fooled by the green screen, and I would take a lot of Jeranism stuff and put it on there, try to like get the meat of what he was saying. And I did his scaling and variance on a post on Instagram, and I did what else was it? The ships disappearing into themselves. I did that one as well. And that one actually has over 1,000 followers on that, but I actually stopped posting on that for a while, lost the password. I somehow managed to get back into it when I made the other Instagram, and I was like, oh snap! So now I'm running that channel too. If you guys want to go follow that, that's Green Screen Earth. That's pretty fun. But if you're already on here, you're getting the most up to date stuff. I pretty much do most of my stuff on here now, and then I'm going to start putting this stuff over onto the YouTube for people to watch, and that way, people can find what they want of value. Is this really real? I knew they had to be pulling my chain, but no. Yeah, bros, you're looking at genuine geocentric flat earthers. So if you think that you have a good argument, go ahead and jump in the box, bro. We'd love to hear it. I went in and I talked to PhD Blitz PhD, and Globe Man, and I found their arguments utterly lackluster. So if you have something of value, please, please bring it in. Who else do we got in here? Flat or spherical? Yeah, it's like saying he won't debate an idiot. Ha! Robert Battle Hammer. So you feel pretty confident in your belief then in the flying spaceball? Well, we're not so ready to deny our senses. So if you have some good evidence, we'd love to hear it. Here they come. Oh, nice, 61. I wasn't even looking at that. Hell yeah. Self-medicated Globies coming in. Hey, we're all self-medicated. No hate here. Which side we on? Which side are you on? Let's get it. People. Oh, we got a guest request. Heck yeah, let's get in. Accept. Hopefully their opposition. This is exciting.
Hey, what's up, man?
Hey, how's it going?
Why doesn't Flat Earth have a model yet that works?
So what do you mean? Have
Like
you not
seasons
ever
don't
seen
work
like
on
the
a
flight
flat Earth.
paths or how that stuff's worked out?
Seasons don't work on a flat Earth.
Yeah, I'd love to see your evidence for that. The seasons actually make a lot more sense on the flat Earth. They don't make any sense on the flying spaceball. But I'd love to hear your argument.
How do seasons work on a flat Earth?
Well, for starters, let's just start with the known belief. The seasons don't work on the ball for one major reason. The first big reason is going to be that the sun is so many thousands of miles closer. It's like 300 plus Earth diameters closer in the southern winter, which they get the coldest winter, which makes absolutely no sense. And we get the hottest temperatures in the northern hemisphere, which, according to the globe model, and we're supposed to get those in the southern hemisphere as well, but we don't. So
You mean when it's 4 million miles closer?
yeah, whatever the
Tempest
number
4 million
is.
miles closer to the Earth or to the Sun.
Yeah, whatever the number is.
That's at a 96 million miles. That's not a big difference.
Yeah, I mean, you
There's
can
no
just
proof
say
of
that.
any of those numbers. There's no proof of any of those numbers. Then for seasons to work on a ball, the Earth needs to tilt, and there is no proof of Earth tilting at all. It's all theoretical.
No, it's
When you look
tilted towards the
into a
sun.
flat Earth, when you look into the
They
flat
can
Earth and the seasons, and you realize that the sun,
verify it by the angle of the stars. And
Yeah, so why do the top physicists in your field say that a geocentric Earth and universe is one of the most valid, actually the most valid frame of reference?
they don't. That's an outright lie.
Yeah, they say that they actually. Okay, well, let's go ahead and pull them up. If you want to go ahead and go quote digging, not word for word. I guess you could call me a liar on that. I was paraphrasing, but yeah, they definitely say geocentric is a valid frame of reference. I'm sure you're familiar with George Ellis. I mean, do I even need to pull up the quote? I'm sure you know him.
Go ahead, pull it up.
Okay, sure. Let's go ahead and get it. Dun, 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 dun. You're gonna have to give me a minute. I'm working with a slow computer. But besides the seasons, what
Well,
other evidence do you have for your flying spaceball belief?
just seasons not working on the flat Earth makes perfect sense to me.
Well, I mean, it's something that you're just asserting with no evidence. So, I mean, it hasn't gone through the scientific method. It hasn't been verified. You haven't isolated a variable or anything like that. It's simply theoretical.
How would they work on the flat Earth?
Well, that tells me that you haven't even done the research on the flat Earth side. They work because the sun is closer to the North Pole, making a tight circle in the northern summer. And then wherever the sun is going to be most directly over is going to be their summer throughout the year. And so it just shifts as it goes throughout the ball.
So in the winter, it makes a larger circle around the Earth.
Yeah,
So in the winter, the sun moves faster.
whichever it is. It's in the whichever
You're saying the sun moves faster in the winter, moves through the sky faster in the winter.
the winter is. It depends on where you're at. So the sun
Northern
is
winter.
making a tighter loop in the northern hemispherical summer. I'm just using hemisphere because I don't know what other word to use. Hemisplane, maybe. In the northern
So on
hemisplane.
the so when it's in America, when it's winter, the sun is moving through the sky faster.
Where?
Huh?
Oh,
In
southern
America.
hemisphere.
No. In America, when it's winter, the sun is moving faster through the sky.
I mean, I've not measured the speed of the
what he
sun,
thinks is
so
that what he
Well, it's
thinks
making. You said it's making a larger circle when it's winter
So yeah, it
in
must be
America.
going faster, blah blah blah. Yeah, but it's not going faster. Absolutely, honestly, looking up doesn't determine what we're standing on. So we can sit here and talk about the sun and how fast it's moving or where it's going and seasons. The fact of the matter is there is no measurable curvature and you don't feel any motion at all.
The
And you
fact of the
cannot
matter
see
is that if the
millions of
sun
miles
is moving through the
away.
sky
You can,
faster, then
I
sundials
can't do
wouldn't
that.
work.
You don't have Superman vision. You can't look millions of miles away with your naked eye.
Sundials
Impossible.
wouldn't work if the sun
sundials
was
work
moving
based
through
on
the
the
sky
relative position
faster.
of the sun. So they absolutely would work. You're just saying that you don't know what you're
The
talking
sun,
about.
yeah,
No,
sundials
if it's
work
moving
because it's the
faster, the
sun.
shadows would be different.
No, you're just
Listen,
Sundials
it's
have been
called a
working for
asserting.
sundial
thousands of
because the
years.
sun moves, not the earth. If it was the earth moving, it'd be an earth dial. You know what I'm saying? It's the
It's
sun
called a sundial
dial because
because it
the
was
sun
created
moving. You're
thousands of
looking
years
up,
ago
not
before they
moving,
knew that the
looking at
Earth
objects moving,
rotated
but we're the
and
ones
revolved
moving.
around the sun.
You're not moving, my brother. You're not moving.
All
You're
right,
looking up and
Marcos.
looking at objects moving.
Your
Let's
seasons
talk
don't
about what's
work
under
on
our
a flat
feet.
Earth.
Well, let's talk about celestial navigation on a globe Earth if we want to go ahead and play
How
that
does
game. I
level
mean,
water work on a flat Earth? Oh, wait, level means Earth curve, right?
It's in a basin. It's in the crust. It only goes 7 miles down. That's
So
not anything.
where can we see this curvature?
About 100,000 miles up.
What about Neil deGrasse said that at
100,000.
120,000 it was flat?
I don't think he said that. They've
Oh,
seen it from 100,000 miles up, or
oh, that's gonna be
100,000
a
feet
fun
up.
one. Give me 1 second.
Only time you see Earth curve is with fisheye lens. Horizontal is always
Or if
the
you get high
horizon.
enough,
Neil
you
deGrasse
can
said
see
that
it from the
you straight up
International
can't
Space
see the
Station.
curve even from the Red Bull jump. So I'm not arguing for the validity of it. I'm just saying that that's what he said. I'm gonna go ahead and play it right now. Let me get through this commercial first. Thank you, StreamYard.
So, with what motion do you feel the most? Is it the sun? Is it the Earth spinning? Is it us going around the sun?
Called
Or is it
inertia.
us?
You don't feel it because you're moving with it
Oh, because we're
at a
moving with it. We
constant
don't
speed.
feel any of it.
Yeah, like when you're driving a car, you don't feel it unless you accelerate or brake or turn.
Okay, so when you're sitting in your car, say I'm driving a car, you're in the passenger seat and you're holding a dinner plate that has water sitting in the dinner plate, and I'm going 80 miles an hour straight, right? And if I
Yeah,
start banking to my left, that water's gonna slosh right off the cliff. Is it not? Yes, it
depends how
is.
far you turn. If you move 1 degree,
The
maybe not.
the heliocentric model claims many vectors at the same time. We would absolutely feel that. We would feel the acceleration.
There's no acceleration. It's spinning at a constant rate.
Well, now you've just
More than
invoked a
one
fallacy,
vector
Marco. That's globe
determines
heresy.
acceleration.
According to the globe model, if you go and Google it right now, we're at a constant state of acceleration and deacceleration depending on what part of the orbit we're on. So you don't know what you're talking about.
Okay, it's not accelerating or decelerating. There is no decelerating. First off, it's accelerating
So
in
we're just
negative
picking.
direction.
Okay, so we're just picking up speed constantly. So how much faster are we? Since we started studying this to verify that.
It's moving at basically the constant rate.
Okay, hold
It
on
may
one
go up
second.
and down, but not enough to
And
notice.
back to the sun moving faster. That's because you probably assume that him or I subscribe to an AE model or some type of model. I don't know what he does, but I don't subscribe to any model. I deny the mainstream model now, and I'm trying to find out on my own. I know for myself only two facts: that I'm not moving, and that I don't see any curvature
You don't know
anywhere.
that
And
for a fact at
too
all.
far. I know for a fact that water lays level, whatever container it's in. I know for a fact it lays level.
Also, just to kind of go back to that previous point,
Unless it's in.
literally the very first search on Google is Earth accelerating. I'll go ahead and read it. Traveling in any path besides a straight line at a constant velocity requires some type of acceleration. Therefore, the Earth is accelerating as it bends its way around the sun. This is because the sun is always exerting its gravitational force, blah, 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 blah. But you said that we don't feel it because it's a constant rate. So which is it? Is it a constant rate or are we accelerating?
It's a constant rate of acceleration
Good mental gymnastic, bro. Cool story.
because you're going a different direction. You're accelerating in a different direction
Okay, so
constantly.
if we're accelerating, that would imply that our speed is increasing. That's literally
Doesn't mean
what
you're going faster.
acceleration means. So
Just
how much
changing
faster
directions.
are we going today versus 10 years ago or 20 years ago? I don't know when you guys first did the measurement.
Not going faster. Just changing directions. Accelerating in a different direction constantly. It's
Well,
not that hard to understand.
yeah, I think that's absolutely ridiculous. So we're turning.
Okay.
We're turning. You claim we're accelerating. We have no means to prove that. So, do you have any like actual scientific evidence, like anything that can go through the scientific method that can
Yeah.
verify?
There's no way seasons work on a flat Earth.
That's not science. That's not the
That
scientific
is.
method.
It's
That's not
definitely
taking.
science.
Okay, so where's the
It's
variable that you
observational
isolated, and
data.
where's the lab
You
that you
notice
showed?
how the sun moves through the sky.
So where did you show in a lab that the seasons can only work on a ball Earth? Come on, bro. Don't pretend to not know what science is.
Do you think
It's
that the
observational
sun is a
data.
physical
You see how the
object?
sun moves through the sky. It doesn't move faster in the winter.
What do you think the sun
It
is? Do
doesn't
you
go
think it's a
from
physical
east to
object?
west. It goes over you.
Right.
Yeah,
It
so
doesn't
even in
go in
your
a
model, I
circle.
would disagree with you because if it is true that we're closer to the sun, then it would appear to move faster in the sky when we are closer to it. That's just a fact, even in your model. So again, you don't know what you're talking about. You're
No, in
just
my
saying the
model, it's
talking
the
points
Earth
from the globe
spinning
side, and
into
you're not
daylight and
verifying
out of
anything
daylight.
with
That's
any
all it
scientific
is.
method. It is in
The
fact
Earth spinning at a
pseudoscience.
constant rate doesn't make the Earth doesn't make the sun move faster. It moves
So
at a
I'll double back
constant
to the
rate through
question:
the
do you have
sky.
anything that's not pseudoscience, something that's actually gone through a scientific experimentation, the whole process, making an observation, isolating a variable, all that good stuff? Can you show us anything
Yes,
like
they have
that?
done that to show that seasons on a flat Earth will not work with
Drop the link.
observational data. Huh?
So the Earth tilts every year, and we don't feel it. We don't feel the Earth tilt on its axis every year, but we can tell because we're looking up at stars in the sky moving.
Yes.
That's
Sounds
ridiculous.
dumb
And the
as
tool you're using,
fuck.
Really not. It's not that ridiculous.
but the tools that you're using is based off a level plane.
No, they're not.
Yeah, celestial navigation only works on a level plane. It literally assumes a flat surface. You can't derive an angle, an elevation angle from a curved line. So, regardless of what's causing us to
First
be
off,
able to see
you're
too
talking
far,
about a sextant. A sextant is used from the deck of the boat. It's not used from the water.
it assumes a flat surface. It's a flat plane that you're measuring to get your
No, it
angles.
assumes a flat line of sight.
The boat's on flat water, my guy. The boat is sitting on flat water.
Yeah, but the sextant is sitting on the deck. It's not on the water. So your whole calculations for that is wrong.
You're doing
No,
measurements
it's
from a
not. We're saying it's flat. If it's a flat
Yes, it
piece,
is.
yeah, it's a flat model that
It
you're
works on a
using.
flat line of sight, as far as you can see. That's how it works. And it's
Right,
So
from
it's
the
flat
flat.
deck.
as
It's
far
not
as you
from the
can
water.
see. It's flat as far as you can see, and then it curves away from us.
The horizon is the curve. Yes.
The
The
horizon is the curve.
horizontal horizon. So we live on a huge like cylinder. We don't see curvature from
No, you're
east to
not high
west.
enough to see this
All
the
right, so
curve
are we
from east
ready
to
So
for
west.
this? Because you
we're
obviously
high
haven't done your
enough
research.
You can't see far enough to see the curve. You need to be up higher
So
to see it.
it's so wait. Excuse me. So we can see boats go over the curve of the Earth, but
Yes.
we're not high enough to see the curve of the Earth.
You're not high enough to see the curve of the horizon from east to west or from the sides because you can't see that far. But you can see in front of you.
How
You
far
can
can we
see
see
how
in
it
front of us?
disappears behind the horizon.
How far can we see in front of us, Marco, based on the geometric horizon?
I don't know. It's like 1 degree every 69 miles. 1 degree of curve every 69 miles.
Okay, so if I have a one
There's
foot observer height, how far should I see?
I don't know that trigonometry and other
Bro, so you're
calculations
literally
I
just
can't
proving
do.
that you don't know what you're talking about. If you have a 1 foot observer height, you should only be able to
I'm
see about two
just saying
miles
that people
to the
do know what they're
horizon.
talking about. They have Earth curvature calculations that include trigonometry.
I know, and they don't
It's
work.
not that
We
hard to
blow
see. It's
past them
not that
every
hard to
time, bro.
find. It's not that hard to understand because they
It's not.
explain
You're right, Marco.
exactly
It's
what
not
they're
that hard
doing.
to understand. We blow past those measurements of the Earth curvature calculator every single time. So what's
No,
your
you don't.
excuse?
You don't at all.
There's over 200 observations. There's so many long distance observations that show that. There's a long distance observation
That don't
from
account
Spain that
for
shows over
refraction.
1,000 miles. So, or 500 miles.
That don't use the right. They don't use the right input.
It's infrared. What do you mean, the right input?
You need to have the right height, the right elevation, how far you're going, how high the thing you're looking at is elevated,
So
the
yeah, you're not even up to
amount
date with
of
the debate, bro, because your
the
side has
atmospheric
already moved past
conditions.
this point. So you're literally just proving that you don't know what you're talking about because your side has already moved past this point. Your side says that the
They're not
reason why
moving
we
past
see, hold
anything. You're
on,
just
the
not
reason
using
why
all the
we see
data
too
that's
far, hold
available.
on, Marco, the reason why we see
Use
too
all the
far
data
is
that's
because of
available, and you'll get
superluminal
the right
refraction.
calculations.
Magical light bends around the curvature of the Earth back into your eye so that you can see it as a
It's
flat
not magical.
plane.
It's
That is the
refraction.
reason
It's really
that
not
the
that
globe
hard.
Earth has invented why we see too far.
It's refraction. It's not magic. Light bends. You've seen it.
How far does
You see
refraction
it
allow you
bend
to
through
see?
water.
How far can refraction allow you to see, Marco? What's the equation for
It
the
depends on the
refraction?
atmospheric conditions. It depends on all of the data points. You have to put in all
Yeah,
of the
atmospheric
available
conditions.
information,
So just slide the goalpost
and
Atmospheric
it
wherever
works
you need
out
it, right?
every single time.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Mellowdome.
I was gonna say, based on atmospheric conditions, the horizon changes. So, do you subscribe to a physical horizon?
No,
So then, why did you say
Okay,
that the
so
horizon was Earth curve?
it's just part of the curve. You can't see past the curve.
Which is it? Is the horizon part of the Earth curve, or is the horizon a non-physical optical horizon? You can't have it both ways.
But yeah, refraction changes things, but you still see the horizon. Anything beyond that, it means the Earth is curving down. It's really not that hard.
So hold on a second. So we don't. Okay. So the light from the horizon is bending. Okay,
Sometimes,
refraction
not
is
all the
something that's
time.
always present. It's just a matter of to what degree. We can agree on that. Refraction is something that's always present. It's just a matter of to what degree. And so
Sure.
we can agree that the horizon is non-physical. So then why would you then double back and then say that it is a physical geometric horizon?
Didn't say it was a physical geometric horizon.
You said the
Didn't say
horizon
that.
is Earth curve. That's what you said word for word.
Huh? I didn't hear you. What'd you say?
You said the horizon was Earth curve, word for word. So it does not is that not a physical geometric horizon?
The horizon, the Earth curving. The Earth is constantly curving. You can see so far. Depends
Okay,
on the height. Depends on a whole bunch of things.
Marcos, I'm gonna give you one more chance to see the fallacy here. You say that the horizon is not a physical horizon, that it's an optical one based on her refraction, which we can
How are
agree
you
on.
gonna say I have a fallacy when y'all have no working flat Earth model?
We don't need a model. We're debunking the existing one.
Yeah, you do.
No, you don't. That's not how science
Show how
works.
seasons work.
Are
That's
you
all you
aware
need
that
to do.
science only
Show how
debunks?
seasons could work on a
Science
flat
only
Earth.
disproves. Science isn't meant to prove things in the affirmative. Science is meant to debunk things. And that's what we're doing.
It does both.
No,
It makes an
it
assumption,
doesn't.
tests it, and retests it. It tries to disprove it. Earth being a sphere has been proven for fucking hundreds of years.
And yet you've yet to provide one good evidence to, convince any flat earther. You've not done any science.
you
You've
just
not
said
shown any
we can't
scientific experiment.
falsify it.
Huh?
He just
It's
said we
because
can't
flat earthers
falsify it
always try
until
to
we
change
replace
things.
it.
They
That's what you
can't
just
do
said.
the
You
math.
said
They
we
can't
can't
understand it.
falsify.
Why are there no flat earthers with PhDs?
There's plenty of them. What are you talking about, bro?
No
Where?
research.
No
Where?
research.
Show me an astrophysicist that is a flat earther.
If they were openly calling themselves flat earthers, they would lose all of their credibility because of the programming
Okay, exactly.
ball.
So hold
They're
on.
Because
high
there are
level.
none.
We have PhDs who are
Mainstream
flat earthers. We
isn't
do not have
brain.
astrophysicists. Not
What
openly,
kind of
anyway.
gravity do you subscribe to? What do you subscribe to? What do you think is this? Like, you probably don't even understand what the mainstream heliocentrical bullcrap is. It's just, it sounds like you're just remembering what we were all being taught growing up and going to school,
Yeah, I
going
don't
to
know what
college, all the same
heliocentrical
regurgitated
bullcrap
bullshit.
is. You're right.
So, so everything is bullshit except the globe model. That was real. That's the one thing that they told the truth on. Like, even distances, like you won't even question the distances of the objects you're looking at in the sky. Like, they're obviously closer than what they're telling us. Like,
What do
just
you mean
stepping
they're
out.
obviously closer?
Well, when I look up, I don't think I can see millions of miles away
Well,
due
it's actually
to
simple to
what?
prove that we couldn't
Atmospheric
see it with the
conditions.
inverse square
So
law of
how
light.
You're not seeing millions of miles away. You're seeing the light that is traveling to us.
light does not travel like that. That's not even
Light
a
does
thing.
travel like that
Marco, are you
through
familiar
space.
with the inverse square
Light
law of light?
propagates. It's actually just propagating through an ether. Light does not travel. It doesn't like
There is
it's
no
not a
ether.
physical thing. It's not
Ether's
some
been
physical
disproven.
thing that's flying.
I'm not even going to get into the ether discussion just yet. I'm still stuck on the light thing. Are you familiar with the inverse square law of light, Marco? You are.
No,
Okay. So you're
no.
making a claim based on light when you don't even understand all the principles of it. The inverse square law of light is the actual mechanism of how we determine how bright a light should be based on how far it is. So using those mathematics, you can actually take the brightness of the sun, I won't say known, but the supposed known brightness of the sun, and you can prove verifiably that if you move that sun out just, what was it, 6 light hours further away, we would not be able to see it. And yet we're able to see stars that are light years away, and we're dealing with an average sun, with an average star. So you don't even know what the inverse square law of light is. You don't know how far light's really
I don't
supposed to
think you know
travel.
the
You
full
have an
scope of it
idea
either.
that it travels infinitely through space,
But
even
there
though you
are
don't
people
know
who
that.
do. They studied it their entire lives.
You haven't studied it, have you?
No, and neither have you.
So can we agree then that your worldview is based on belief in men?
Huh? Beliefs in astrophysicists.
Okay. So
Thousands.
your belief,
All
just
around
understand,
all around the globe.
that's okay. You're
Different
allowed to
universities.
believe that, but just understand that it is a religion. You're believing the priests of the
It is
religion.
not a
You have not
religion. They use
verified any of the
empirical
religious
evidence. They
principles
use data.
yourself.
They use actual knowledge. It is
Actual
not a
knowledge.
faith-based religion. It
So
is
talking to you
science.
is
That's
like
all.
talking to a Christian who's saying that the Bible is absolute truth. You understand that, right? You have not verified any of the
That is
truths in
not
your
true at
Bible.
all. Bible has no scientific information to back it up. It has
I
no
agree.
empirical evidence.
I agree.
Astrophysicists do.
Where is it?
They published it in papers, millions of papers.
Okay.
It's the same concept, same exact concept. If it's not in the Bible, it's not up for
It is not.
discussion. If it's not in the textbook, it's not up for
The papers they
discussion.
publish
It's
have
the same
actual
thing.
evidence. They
Yeah,
have
if you
A
sources
man
literally
that
writes
replace
something on
textbook with
paper.
Bible,
It
you
gets
understand it's no different. Literally
Listen,
no
peer
different.
reviewed papers is bull crap. When it's peer reviewed, that means it's a consensus. They all got to agree on it. Science makes breakthroughs on the fringe side of science, not through peer reviewed bullshit papers
Yeah,
that are
and a
being
spherical
pushed.
Earth isn't a breakthrough because they've known about it for hundreds of years, thousands of years.
No, that's not true, my guy. That's
It is
again, that's
true,
a
my guy.
lie.
So when you say things,
That's a lie.
Marco,
No,
like,
it
well,
is.
where is the scientific papers on the flat Earth and yada yada yada? You seem to be under the assumption that we live in a that the science institution that we were taught is as they said. That these are men with no bias. That they genuinely go at these things trying to disprove the current narrative. When you don't understand that the only way that they keep their job and their position is if the facts that they have been teaching and pumping out remain true. As soon as something like flat Earth comes out and starts to gain traction,
Until
the
all of
powers
the
that be
independent
literally say, "We
research
don't want
done
to
by
debate it.
thousands of
We don't
different
have we
universities,
don't have
all
time for debate with the
staffed
flat Earth
with
Society."
astrophysicists, physicists, and other people who have PhDs and advanced degrees.
Appeal to authority. That's a logical
They do
fallacy.
independent research,
There's independent research that says that the Earth is flat.
Look up,
not done by anybody with credentials.
look
Credentials
up
of
a
appeal
couple.
to authority.
There's an experiment called Aries failure that will tell you that the Earth isn't moving. What's above us is moving. There's another experiment, Myerson Morley. You can check out Robotham. There's
Arson
plenty.
Morley's been disproven. They couldn't recreate it.
What
Thousands of
What are you
scientists
talking
have tried
about?
to recreate it.
Right, you're proving, yeah, exactly. That's why I'm trying.
They can't recreate it because it doesn't work. Because it's
Yeah,
wrong.
they couldn't prove that the Earth was moving. You're right. It didn't work.
No, it tried to prove that the Earth wasn't moving. It was stationary. They disproved that.
It proved that
They
what
could
above
not
us.
recreate that experiment.
You can do that. Like when you go look at actually, I believe that too. Until you go actually read these papers and you find out what these people actually did. I thought that too. I believed that too. Right. I
And
believed it
then you
too.
watch the YouTube video. I get it.
Yeah, and then you go find the PDFs and you go read all the shit yourself. Yeah, it starts at a YouTube video. It
Okay.
doesn't make things like, oh my God, we can't get information from the internet. Isn't this an information fucking war that's going on out there right now? Like that's where everyone gets their information from the internet. And then they go and do their own research because it's out there now. I mean, there's all kinds of information that's being put out there. I know a lot of it is deception. I don't subscribe to half the bullshit flat earthers say. I think majority of them are fucking crazy. But I know that there is no measurable fucking curvature and I'm not moving. And
There's an
you go on the
absolute
NASA and the
measurable curvature.
Hold on.
there's no
Trans
real
men cannot
curvature.
have babies.
Every
Trans men
says
are
it's
not real
real.
men. Personal opinion. So I just want to throw that out there. Don't loop us all in with that. You know.
Yeah, don't believe all the astrophysicists that actually study this stuff
Well, I mean,
and actually do the math.
your scientists and authority are the ones saying that men can be women and women can be men. You know, so just remember that we're the ones saying that we should
And
probably take things as we see it
I'll
and
say
require
this:
more evidence.
there
People can
are
choose their
plenty.
genders and be whatever the fuck they want. Why does that matter?
There are plenty of they might not call themselves flat earthers, but there are plenty of geocentrists, actual people with PhDs and high levels that believe in the geocentric model. The only difference is we think it's on a
Not
level
in
plane.
astronomy, physics, or any of
So you're just
any
Absolutely, yes,
degrees that
there is.
matter.
Absolutely,
Yeah, so
yes,
you're just
there
invoking
is.
these words like physics and astronomy, Markle. But if you actually
Geopolitical
look into
scientists,
it, I
maybe.
mean, George Ellis said it. Kepler said it. The
Political
evidence says that we're the
sciences,
center of the
maybe.
universe, bro. I mean, you got to accept that. That's what the evidence says, and that we're picking the model based on philosophical means. That's a fact.
The evidence points that the Earth is not flat. It's obvious.
What evidence
You're
do you
gonna have to
have?
live with that.
We're still waiting for it.
That seasons don't work on a flat Earth.
You still haven't verified that. If you verify that, then maybe we can talk about it. But until then,
Does the sun move faster through the sky in the winter?
doesn't necessarily have to. So
Does water curve away from you?
Does the sun move faster in the winter?
I don't subscribe to a physical sun. I don't even think it's physical. I think it's something else. A light. I don't think it's
Okay,
a
but you
physical
can still
object.
see it, right? Does it move faster in the winter?
It doesn't matter if it is or isn't. It doesn't mean I'm on a spinning ball. I don't feel myself spinning and I don't see any curvature.
You don't feel yourself spinning because you're moving with the Earth.
You do not feel yourself moving with the earth. You don't feel movement.
Yeah, I
Only
know
time
you
you
don't
feel
feel
the
yourself
earth,
moving with the Earth. It's called inertia.
only time you
Or
feel
you
the
don't
earth
feel
moving
yourself
is
moving going 80 miles an hour in a car.
look, you got to prove it, bro. You can't just say
you
it.
feel that.
We
You
agree that
feel
we
that.
can't feel it. If we agree that you can't feel it, then the burden's on you to prove that we feel it, bro. I mean, it's so simple.
They have gyroscopes that detect 15-degree drift.
I'm glad you brought up the gyroscope. So, a gyroscope, that's a Coriolis effect, correct? 15 degree
Detects
drift?
15-degree drift movement every hour.
Right. That's a Coriolis effect, correct? That's the apparent drift because of the Earth's motion?
Yeah.
Okay. So, by that logic, we have Coriolis effect that goes underneath goes underneath bullets, goes underneath hurricanes. The Earth spin affects these things and makes it appear to drift. So, with that in mind, why are the flight times going east and west the same, even though the Earth is spinning?
Because they're still moving with the Earth. They're just moving against
So, why isn't the gyroscope?
against the air.
You don't
Huh?
know. You don't know. The best evidence that came out was the gyroscope and the
It's still
pendulum, and
moving with the Earth, but they're
it even
moving
got
in a
admitted
certain
that we don't
direction
really know if the
on the Earth.
gyroscope's the
They're
thing
still
drifting
moving
or if it's the pendulum.
with the Earth. Still moving with the Earth. They're just accelerating in a different direction.
So you deny Coriolis effect then? Earth spin does not have an effect on objects because we're in the same inertial frame?
It does.
Which is
If a
it?
plane's moving, if it's going east, then it's moving backwards, but going in an eastern direction.
But the flight times are the same, bro.
Because it's still going with the Earth.
The Earth is
But
not
it's
spinning
moving
beneath
in a
planes
different
and hot air
direction.
balloons and helicopters. Can we agree on that?
They are spinning with the Earth.
Okay, so they're not affected by Coriolis. Is that what you're saying?
Hot air balloons, airplanes, no.
Okay, but they're detached from the surface of the Earth. So if it works
Yeah, the
beneath
atmosphere
bullets,
is
listen,
spinning
Marco,
with
try to
the
wrap your
Earth.
head around this. I know it's hard. I
The
know cognitive
atmosphere is
dissonance
made
is a
of
really hard thing to
nitrogen and
grasp.
oxygen, and all those atoms are moving with the Earth.
But listen, if the Earth is spinning beneath bullets and gyroscopes and hurricanes and all this other stuff, then how is it that it's being selective in what it affects? It doesn't make any sense. It's an inconsistent belief. The more logical conclusion is that there's some other effect at play
It's
that's
not.
causing the spin of bullets and storms and
Bullets move
gyroscopes.
through it because bullets are moving much faster than an airplane or hot air balloon. They
The
can get
gyroscope
through.
is.
That's why snipers who shoot north, east, south, or west have to adjust for it.
Yeah, see, that's the other thing that you really need to do research on. If you look into it, you'll actually see that the snipers actually only adjust for the bullet going left. It actually doesn't change depending on the direction, which would be required if it was Coriolis effect. What's causing the bullet to
It
drift
changes
is the
every
spin of
single
the bullet.
direction.
Bullets spin when they get fired out of the barrel, and that's what's
Yes,
causing
they do. I
the
understand that.
right, and that's what's causing the deflection, not the spin of the Earth. So Coriolis is not a thing. Coriolis is not verifiable. Something else is spinning the pendulum.
Coriolis is verifiable.
Pendulum, we admit that that's just spinning,
Snipers
and we
have to
assume that
change,
it's Earth curve.
have to adjust for whatever direction they're shooting it.
Can we just admit that you're assuming that the 15-degree tilt in the gyroscope is Earth spin, and that you don't know that, and that it could be something else?
Like what?
Like anything. That could literally just be the gyroscope processing. It's something that always
On every
happens,
single
so you don't
gyroscope?
know.
On every single one?
That's the point of the gyroscope, is it not? Or do you know how the gyroscope works? Or is it just something that you said because you
Huh?
got it proved Earth spin?
I don't know the exact experiments, no.
Fair enough. I appreciate you being honest. We lost Mellowdome. I wonder if he's going to jump back in. I got 3 guest requests. Give me a second here. I'm sorry I've been ignoring these. Been having a great conversation. Let's go ahead and accept them. I'm going to bring 2 of you in. And then I'm going to. Marco, did you have any other evidence or anything else you'd like to say? Or because I do have somebody else that's waiting, they probably want to be cycled in.
You can go ahead, man.
I appreciate your time, Marco.
Have a good night.
Yeah, thanks for coming on, man. I
You
know it
too.
takes balls to come into a debate channel.
Yeah.
For sure. You have a good one.
You too.
Peace. All right. Let me pull up here. Oh, I can actually have 4 people. Oh, never mind. You're okay. He's gone. No worries. Round Earth is
Um,
going 100%.
earlier you said the Coriolis effect was because of the bullet spinning, and that's just wrong, and that's easily verifiable.
No, that's not what I said. I said that the bullet spinning is the what's causing it to drift. So
Yeah,
maybe
the
you said it
Coriolis
backwards.
effect. So the Coriolis effect sometimes causes that drift. If it was not the Coriolis effect, it would happen in every direction you shoot it. But the Coriolis effect only happens when you're shooting in the north, shooting north.
Well, to be quite frank with
So
you, most snipers that I've heard say that they just take their best shot. It's only with the extremely, extremely long distance ones, and then we're talking about a
yeah,
super specific, scenario.
no, you're
So,
right. You're right. It doesn't. It's not like hunters aren't going to use it, but uh, to take it into account a lot more. It's literally in the military handbook. So these are things that our military uses, and I don't know why they would
well,
just be putting that in there just to lie about the shape of the Earth
well, just to
or the
be real
spin
with
of the
you, I
Earth.
mean, if we're going to talk about stuff that the government puts out, there's a manual for a predicting the trajectory of objects, and it literally says to assume a flat, non-rotating Earth.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about, and that's for a computer program in the like late '80s.
No, there's
So when
multiple.
they're
There's
designing
a
that computer
couple.
program, and
I'm willing to accept
well, when
that.
they're actually launching stuff,
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh,
when they're actually launching things, they do take the Earth's rotation and shape into account. But when they were building that computer program in the '80s, they didn't have a lot of computing power, so they assumed some things that made it easier for the computer to crunch those numbers.
That's very interesting. I would like to look into that a little bit, but I know there's a couple manuals that assume it. So, yeah, I'd have to look into that. Victoria Williams, welcome.
Well,
Huge
there's
boss. I can't read your full name.
hello.
Eh,
Welcome.
yeah,
Appreciate
I
you
just
coming on.
wanted to say, planes are indirectly affected by Coriolis. Jet streams.
Oh, and how do you mean exactly?
Planes that are affected by jet streams. Like, what are you wanting
All right,
to
so you're
know?
saying the jet stream is a result of Coriolis?
Yes.
Okay, I'd like to see some verification of that. The thing that we're having problems with, just to be quite frank with you all, is that we're really trying to get some actual scientific, verifiable,
well,
make an
okay.
observation, isolate the variable, repeat it.
All right, I got one for you. Then you can do it yourself. You don't need NASA or any government agency to verify it for you.
Hell yeah, finally.
All you need is a level. All you need is a level and the ability to change your altitude significantly, whether that's a plane or a mountain, and you can verify that the horizon falls away from you. So if you know anything about spherical geometry, you'll know that the higher you go up, the lower the horizon will be at angular. So you can take that level at sea level, measure the angle to the horizon. It's going to be like right around 90 degrees or close to it, right under 90 degrees. Then take that same level, go up to the top of a mountain, uh, verify you're looking 90 degrees out, and then see how far the horizon has dropped. That's called horizon dip angle, and it shouldn't exist on a flat Earth.
Yeah, I've heard about
Yeah,
the. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was gonna say the same thing because why does water always levels itself out?
Oh, gotcha.
Well, level just means perpendicular to gravity. So anywhere on the Earth, you know, is level. There is level.
Except for we don't see
Doesn't
that bulge of water anywhere when we do the long distance measurements. But that's beside the point. I want to get back to the dip angle thing that you just brought up because I think that that's pretty cool to address there. That's not everybody likes to bring up stuff like that. The problem is that you're talking about a horizon that before I go any further, can we agree that is the horizon a physical horizon or is it an optical horizon?
well, I mean, it varies. It is a physical thing. Like we can measure it, but when we can change our altitude, for example, that's going to change it. So it's optical, but we can measure where the optical part
Doesn't that
ends.
throw a huge wrench in the science the the
I mean
scientific
that
nature of that experiment.
the distance to the horizon doesn't matter when you're talking about angle. So, and
Well,
that's the only thing that changes. The horizon's always a physical thing. The sky meets the ground. You can always see where the sky meets the ground. Depending on how far away that is, changes. But
but that's
the
actually
sky
not
will always.
well, huge ball. That's actually not entirely true because we have video evidence, picture, photograph evidence of a miraging horizon that actually appears much higher than the water level does. And so, what we think is, or what our mind tells us is the horizon, isn't necessarily so. So even when you're going up high, if light is still refracting, and we're talking about the same effect, I mean, I'm just not seeing a way to verify 100% that that effect is caused by Earth curve and nothing else. Does that make sense?
Well, I mean, refraction is never going to make the horizon closer. It's always going to make it farther away. It's always a bending, and refraction actually wouldn't exist on a flat Earth because refraction only happens in a curving median. So this is something that's easily verifiable. Like nothing's going to refract closer. You're never going to see things appear closer because of refraction. It's always going to be further.
Well, I would disagree on the fact that the refraction is only possible with the sphere-shaped air. I think that's pretty ridiculous. All that's necessary for refraction is difference in medians. So that can happen regardless of the shape that the air takes. As far as like being able to see farther away, I could agree with you on that. That refraction does seem to make it so that we can always see further away and not something that's closer. But that's not our claim. Our claim isn't that refraction goes both ways and all that stuff. You're saying that because when we go up, the horizon appears to dip, that means that we live on the sphere. And I'm trying to say that there is other explanations for that. That the horizon that we're looking at, regardless of how high up
All
you
right.
are,
Well,
is still an optical horizon. And you do get to see further away just from rising up, but that's also on both models as well. You can actually, that's actually been demonstrated in a computer model, I believe.
that going up. Well, that doesn't really. I mean, just the way triangles work. If you go up, you're going to be looking further. So, if distance is an optical thing that's caused by refraction, then going up shouldn't let you see higher because you're actually increasing the distance to something by going up. Just in a simple triangle, the hypotenuse is getting longer when you change that height.
The Rio Reese, you've been really quiet over there. Sorry for if we've been ignoring you over there. You got anything for us?
Yeah, so I had a question. Say if there was a tree, say if we lived on a flat Earth, there's a tree in the middle, one tree, and you climb up it. The height wouldn't make you see further. Can you explain why?
You said the height would make us see further or wouldn't make us see further?
No, wouldn't.
It would
Wouldn't.
not make us see further. Can you explain why?
Nope.
No, that's
Because you're flat. It's a flat Earth.
You should be able to see just as far, no matter the height.
yeah,
If
that's not true
if the
because of,
horizon is an op,
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Your line of sight would extend to the horizon, which would be flat, correct?
Well, it's an optical horizon. The light's bending, so we don't. I mean, we're not seeing the actual physical horizon. That's what we believe.
yeah,
That's
but
what you
that's
believe,
exactly
but
what we're
it's
saying. Like
yeah.
if the horizon is purely optical and is caused by refraction, then why does going higher make you see further? Because you're actually increasing the distance to an object by going up.
Because you're increasing your angle. Like I said, this has actually been demonstrated in a computer model. I'm going to be able to post that here pretty soon on my page for those who want to follow along. But essentially, what happens is that anytime you increase your height, you do become able to see farther, and that's even on flat surfaces. You can verify this on your table. You can take a domino or a phone, and you can put it on one end of your table, go to the other end with your phone camera, put it at observer height, and you'll see that the horizon, the new horizon of your table is blocking a little bit of your domino or phone. Now, is that because the table is curving? No, it's
That wouldn't
because
happen. That wouldn't happen unless you're below the horizon.
no, you don't
Unless
have to be
you're
below the horizon. You can literally just be literally right
below
on
the
it. It's actually
plane,
all there's.
nothing is obscuring it if it's flat.
Yeah, I know that you're saying that, but that's just not how the light works because there's things like I'm trying to remember the actual word for it. That's the thing. I'm not a huge scientist on the optics end of it. I can't remember the big words, but there are things at play. The light doesn't just travel forever like we think, and it does dissipate. And there are things that, for example,
Yeah,
basically
the
the
waves,
table is
the
resolving
waves.
to my eye before the light from the domino does. And this can be this is something that's easy to verify for yourself. Like, don't take my word for it. Do the experiment yourself. You don't have to just say it has to be below the horizon. You
If
can
you
just
if you
literally do
don't
it right at the table.
if you don't know the optics, then how are you verifying this for yourself? You're just taking someone's word for it.
Well,
All
I'm
right, I have another
debunking it.
question.
The globe claim is that it's a physical horizon. I'm saying that's nonsense.
All right, so I got another question for, well, kind of like a statement. So, the naked eye can see like objects, obviously, from millions of miles away. We see stars, stuff like that. So, if you're speaking with a clear line of sight,
Well, I would. Well,
you
before
would
we
be
get
able
too
to
far
see
into
lights from
before we
miles
get too
away.
far into assumption land, flat earthers don't believe that you can just see infinitely far, millions and millions of miles. We think that's absurd. There's something called the inverse square law of light. It's scientifically provable that we would not be able to see any of the stars based on their brightness. So we don't believe that we can
Yeah,
Have
see
you
because
any.
done
light travels.
have you done those numbers? Because we did Alpha Centauri, which is our one of our closest neighbors. It's a little more luminous than our sun, and it's about 20 times brighter than it needs to be to see optically using the inverse square law. It's literally plenty bright, and it's only a little brighter than our sun, and it's 4 something light years away. We went through the math and did it 2 lives ago with the PhD physicist, and it's
Nice.
easily
Is that something that's like posted so that we can go follow up on that?
it's his name is Blitz.
Oh yeah, I know Blitz.
Blitz.
I was on the other day with Blitz and Globe Man.
Yeah, we walked through it because somebody had that exact question about the inverse square law. So we used the inverse square law, the lumens, used the lumens of our sun, and multiplied it by 1.5. I think Alpha Centauri is like 1.5 more luminous. Uh, I mean, it's kind of hard to ask you to believe that because we're also deriving these 4 light year distances, and if you don't believe the earth is round, then you probably don't believe in those distances. But according to the inverse square law of light and the distances that we have measured through parallax and other ways, it's easily verifiable that we can see these stars even though they're 4+ light years away.
Sure, yeah, I'd like to go over that, and see that math because I haven't. I'll be honest with you guys, I haven't done the math directly myself, but I do know people who have, and their claim is that. And again, I've gotten some numbers wrong in this already, so please don't quote me on the exact numbers. But you can go to David Weiss's channel and actually find it where they're talking about the inverse square law of light and how if you move the sun, I think it was 6 light hours further then it would be something that is not able to be seen.
I
Or
have I have seen a experiment which was basically like, I think Pluto's kind of close to 6 light hours. I'm not sure exactly, but they were basically like uh, trying to view what daylight would be on Pluto, and it's going to look a lot different. So moving something 6 light hours would make the sun a lot less bright, but it wouldn't make it invisible. It would still be easy
Yeah,
to see and much
yeah.
brighter than the stars.
I have another question. Say if just any object, we'll say, that can shadow on one side of the Earth, it's going to measure at a different length than the other side of the Earth, correct? If it's a
What's that?
flat Earth, then the angle should be the same, correct?
what the
Oh boy.
shadow of what are we talking about?
Say if you stick something in the ground, a stick something. All right, one side of the Earth. Say you and the other dude top box. He puts a stick in the ground right now. You put a stick in the ground. The shadow length is going to be different, correct? Or no?
Well, yeah.
It would appear to be the same way it appears on the ball is how it would appear on the flat Earth. In fact, it makes more sense for the flat Earth because
Flat Earth? No,
our
if
sun
if
is
it
It
was
would
the
be the
same
same.
angle of flat Earth, it'd be same angle, correct? No.
no, because the sun is small and localized.
Oh.
Yeah, you gotta
Now,
think
No.
now you're
around the
beating
different
science
parts.
at that point, though. You're beating science at that point, though, when you're talking angles at that point.
No, it's pretty self-explanatory. So
What is your
if we
definition
have
of flat, or what you think flat is?
what a topographical map looks like, just no curvature that matches the 8 inches per square mile that they say is there. The statement that 1 degree at 69 miles is false because at 69 miles is 1 degree. So at 69 miles, do you know how much curvature that is? That's
Well, if
69 miles of curvature
well
per
the
1 degree.
shadow should be
No,
the
that's
same
69
if it's a flat
miles.
Earth. If there's
No, no,
no
no, 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 no,
angle
no.
being
No,
accounted
you
for,
take
because the
69
angle would
and
be
you
the same.
take 69.13, multiply it by 360, you will come up with 24,704 or 904, and
Yeah,
that's the exact number of the supposed diameter of the Earth
circumference. Yeah,
at the equator. That doesn't mean 1 degree per 69 miles. That means that
that's
1
exactly.
degree is 69 miles. No,
Yeah, exactly.
no. 8 inches per mile is way more than 1 degree. Okay. If we take 8 inches per 1 mile, that 1 degree difference,
It's
if ever
it's
8 inches, let's do a thought experiment. I
it's
know you've heard of one
angular.
about
Trey, it's angular. We're not talking
Yeah.
about the distance of drop. We're just talking about
no, no,
how
no, no,
much
no, 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 no.
angle there is.
Angle size is what I'm talking about. I'm talking about 8 inches per mile.
Where are you getting this 8 inches per mile?
If you take 8 inches and you multiply it by 24,907,
8 inches per
you're
mile
going to come up
squared?
with 69 miles.
No, you're not.
Yes, you
Wait, say
are.
that again. Say that again.
If you take the 8 inches and you multiply that by 24,904, you're going to get 69 miles. That's how you get the 1 degree.
That's not how you get the 1 degree.
Yes, it is.
No, you get
Multiply
the
8
one.
inches.
You get the 1
What's 8
degree
inches times 24,904?
You get the 1 degree by dividing
What? No, no, no.
24,000.
Don't dodge my question. What is 24,000
I'm telling you how
multiplied
you get
by?
this. I don't know. I can't do that in my head. Well, give me a second and I'll tell you. But we get the 69 miles by dividing the circumference of the Earth to 24,000 whatever it is by 360. So you get 69 miles per each 1 degree.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Now, that 69 miles, divide that by the number of, let's see, divide that by the number of blah 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 blah. Is it 300? Is it 360 to get that? No, 69. Okay, I'm confused. Right. Let me get my calculator out. Okay.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
So we
Trey, I've
know.
seen you do the math before. I know you know how to do it.
Okay. 360 times 69 is going to give you 24,840. And that's
Yeah.
without all the extra stuff. Okay. Now you divide the 24,840 divided by 0.00016 equals that's how you get the square mileage. That's not square mileage, but square. It is I think the whole world is 155 million square miles, isn't it?
What?
Never mind.
I'm honestly not sure on that one.
I don't know why you're multiplying into the
I wanted to see something really quick. Hold on.
the
Square
circumference.
miles. But the 8 inches per mile should be obvious within 10 miles, right? So you should be able to find at least something that
Where are
within
you
10
getting?
miles, right?
Where are you
Okay.
getting?
Well, 8 inches per mile. That's what the curvature would have to be for it to make a full circle, bro.
The 8 inches per mile squared would only work for, a couple hundred miles because
1,000 miles,
it's an
bro. It's up to 1,000 miles. It only varies by like 0.03 or something like that. You got to
yeah,
look at the math.
that's
It's good for
point
way
fair.
more than what
0.03
we would need it for.
of a
That's for sure.
degree. Point
That's
zero
fair.
three of a degree is literally 33 miles. It's literally 33 miles of curvature, though. Because 1 degree
Yeah.
of the ball is 33 miles of curvature. There's no way around that. There's no, like,
Okay.
1 degree is 69 miles. 1/3 of that is 33 miles. There's no way around that.
A third of 69 is not 33, but we can
A
continue.
third of 69 is
Is
33.
not
Well,
30.
23. My bad. 23. It's 23. We know that.
But
It's 23.
regardless of the 8
But
inches of
yeah,
curvature
it
per
doesn't
drop.
matter because it doesn't account for the height of the observer or
Yeah,
the
exactly.
atmospheric
Six
refraction.
feet. 6 feet.
So
Yeah, it does. And you also have to use Snell's law. You can't use
Not
anything that doesn't use Snell's law of observational refraction and reflection of a crystal pneumatic liquid medium, which is Snell's law. Okay, so you have to have one, and when you use Snell's law, your globe math falls apart every time.
okay.
Period.
Why?
Because
Why
that
does
is the law. That is the law of observation
what
in
about Snell's explain?
perspective viewing.
Why does Snell's law destroy the globe? All you said was it destroys it. Why?
Okay,
You
well,
have
let's
to back.
put it into an equation. The law of refraction, also known as the law of refraction, or Snell's law, also known as the law of refraction, is a law stating that the relationship between the angles of incidence and refraction when referring to light passing from one medium to another medium, such as air to water, glass to air, so and so. So after a certain point, when you're looking into the atmosphere, you have to account for the lack of or extra add-on of the reflection and refraction of the medium based off of humidity. We know that Aristophanes didn't do this when he had his little stick out there. He didn't account for none of this stuff. As a matter of fact, like, refraction is so bad
Okay.
from where I'm at.
Okay.
Like, you can't even drive down the road without looking like you're gonna, like, your road's appearing before you, because
Aristotle's original calculation was slightly off, but he was very
slightly
close to
off.
predict. It was slightly off, and we have better tools now to account for these things, and we can see that he was very close to getting it right.
But then,
I think
like,
that's
what? Like,
reification.
what is your do you have a picture of it proving that it's a ball?
Well,
Let's just
I mean,
throw all the math away and just look at that. Where's that?
well, I think math is better because you can verify it yourself.
No, it's not.
You're not taking a picture of the Earth yourself, so you're never going to believe it. But you can do math yourself. I mean,
Well,
somewhat.
if it was a ball,
he
you would
said
already
math's
have a
not better,
picture of
but
it.
is trying to use math. I'm
Yeah, but
confused.
you could do math
I'm
about whole
saying
roller coaster
your
that
math falls
exists. I mean, it
apart.
doesn't mean anything.
Your math falls apart.
Why? Why it falls apart? You just
Okay.
read me the.
Okay, if
Now,
you use the Walter what's his face's little curvature
yeah,
calculator, it doesn't
yeah.
use Snell's law.
It,
It uses its own little version
it,
of something that is
it,
nothing.
all right, Trey. Do you know why Snell's
it's
law?
in it's in it's in it's in
It uses
it's
it uses
ingenuity.
information because Snell's law is
Disingenuous.
is direct medium change. And when you're talking about the atmosphere, there is many thousands of medium change. So you have to do an approximation. Snell's law can't be applied when there's 100 different medium changes and temperature changes. So you have to use an
Really?
approximation. We use Snell's law
Really?
exactly.
Oh my
Yes.
god.
I'm just confused. I'm like, I'm not even trying to
You can
argue.
only, okay. How many
Snell's law.
dimensions are there? How
Snell's
many
law is
dimensions are there?
Snell's law. No, let's not move on. Snell's law is two mediums. It measures that angle change between one medium and another. So you
Right.
can't use law when you're talking about the atmosphere because there's many temperature changes and fluctuations. You have to use an approximation. Now we can use Snell's law when getting that approximation, but we cannot use Snell's law directly because it only applies to one medium change and one angle change of light. Does that make?
Oh no. I mean, you open this can of worms.
I just want to
So
know before I go, because like I ain't got too much time. I'm not even trying to argue. I just want to ask why, like, there's different seasons and the shadow. If it was a flat Earth, the sun, there would be the same shadow everywhere, the same length.
no. Okay,
No,
imagine the
how?
flat Earth. Imagine the flat Earth as a
No,
city block.
the sun moves. The sun moves on the flat Earth, so it could work with two angles on a flat Earth. But the moment you add more than two observers, it falls apart.
The
The math
sun would
falls.
have to come up at the same angle constantly.
The sun doesn't come up on a flat Earth. It just
Yeah,
goes around.
yes, I know that, but it would have to be
But
at the same angle if it's flat.
it moves away from you on a flat Earth, so the angle will change. But
Well, that's a theory. We could, as soon as you bring up something like that,
yeah,
and then they could say it can fly away and
I
never
mean,
come back. I
they
mean,
said two sticks and shadows proved the ball before, and then as soon as you debunk that, they say, well, it works if you add a third one. I mean, I just don't really
Eratosthenes.
understand that.
I want to ask you something. I got an experiment. Okay, let's say that we have a ball and a light. Okay, now if you were observing this ball, see, how do I turn this off? Here, flip it around. Okay, I've got a ball right here. Right. So, based on observer height,
Real quick, if you could pause just for a
there's no
second.
way
I got somebody waiting
to
in the
look.
queue here if anybody wants to drop off.
yeah, I'm about to. I got one more question and then I'm out. So like looking at the stars and stuff, wouldn't everyone be able to see the exact same stars if it was a flat Earth?
No. The
No.
ceiling converges with the floor. It's an optical effect. You wouldn't be able to see far forever just because it's a flat Earth. It's a huge fallacy that everybody makes. Anybody who's taken an art class knows that that's just not how it works. You can even on a flat surface, things are going to converge towards the horizon the further away they get. And so at a certain point, you're just not going to be able to see the other stars, but the other people who
Okay.
are underneath those stars will still be able to see them, and they'll be able to see other stars that you can't see. We can only see a very local sky.
So,
Okay, well, if we only see a very low,
What was he saying?
then why can, for the most part, everyone in the North Hemisphere see the same stars? Because that's so. Where does the local start and end?
Yeah, that I'm not too sure of. I haven't done the
You
math, but
said
what I do
everyone
know is
has
that we can see the North Star beyond the or at the Tropic of Cancer. I believe that's the one on the other side of it, and vice versa for the Southern Cross. So that wouldn't work on the sphere model if we are going to start talking about like the stars and what we can and can't see. So there's just reports. The people have reported seeing these stars all
that
the way on the other side of the ball. So.
that works. It works perfectly on a sphere model. On a flat model, there is no.
Yeah.
Okay, so hold on. I
How
just
is
want
there a
to
southern
visualize this.
pole?
Let's just pretend my fist is the sphere. Okay, the North Star is over here. We're talking about people seeing it right here. You would not be able to see it from the other Tropic of Cancer or Capricorn, regardless of which one you're looking
Yeah,
at. You
people
wouldn't be
don't.
able to see once you got around the edge of the ball.
Nobody sees it from
They
Yeah,
do.
I don't know
past.
what
That's
you're
the
saying.
thing. They do.
No, they,
So yeah,
Okay.
no,
you
they
got to look
don't.
into
Tell
that.
me where. Tell me who saw it.
What's the evidence that doesn't go with the worldview? It is true.
Okay.
Show me the evidence on that. I
Here's
want
the
to see the evidence, and I'll
I'll
leave.
make a post about it. Stay tuned. Appreciate you
here's the
for bringing
ball
it
again.
up.
Here's the southern pole star, and everyone in that southern hemisphere looking south sees it. But we're on a flat model. Everyone south is out. How is everyone seeing the same star looking
Well,
direction?
it's not nighttime at the same time at all those places, so there's a fallacy right there. They're not at the same time seeing the same stars. You're just wrong.
so
Regardless,
after
looking
um,
south, the stars don't move. You agree the stars don't move during the day? They're still there. The
no,
sun.
the stars aren't even moving, right? The
Exactly.
stars aren't what's moving.
So they're still there.
What's moving is the firmament. Okay, so
You don't have to worry about that.
so
You say you want to raise in something that they can go back and tell somebody.
What is going on?
Man, somebody's get
I
their
think
sound in check.
Oh, sorry. Okay. So the firmament is basically an oscillating photogalvanic, or photogalvanic means reflective surface. Okay. You see the same way that this fidget spinner creates images of stars. If you turn on the lights,
Lane, I think that's your mic, bro. Turn it down.
Mom, I've made several videos on YouTube and TikTok.
In the background.
you see the trails. Okay. If you turn it a certain way, you can actually see the analemma will actually appear. Now, you know what the analemma is, correct? Now, the actual light source is not moving when it comes to the stars. The dome is moving the same way that I guess you'd say, the solar heliospheric current sheet, which is the magnetic layer representation of the in space, the heliosphere. You guys know what the heliosphere is? You ever seen it?
You're saying a lot of don't really
I
go.
can't help it. I can't help it that you don't know what I'm talking about, man. Like, if you're going to talk about flat Earth, you should at least understand the terms. Look, okay? So the heliospheric
I
current sheet looks like that. That's what it looks like, all
know
right?
what
Lane Roland, you got to get
This
your
is
mic
what
up
it
an
looks
analemma.
like, okay?
Somebody's. I know what an analemma is, but it's not something.
What?
I'm
See this? Look, okay? This creates the exact obverse polarized image of that. So this is your rotation of your center point of mass in the torus field, or the North Pole. As it is
wait.
moving,
Can we get back to the analemma? Because I don't think you're using that in the right
I know
way.
exactly what the analemma is, dude.
Okay.
So
What
whenever
is?
do you see this little figure 8 thing right here on the side of a globe? You ever seen it on the side of a globe?
What figure 8 thing?
Yeah,
like the infinite symbol.
like this. Okay, you see that? Look, this
Okay. Yeah.
little thing right there, that's called an analemma. Now you see, the Earth, or the flat Earth, the sun and moon follow this shape in a circular pattern, like a racetrack, right? So you have a
Yeah. But
sideways.
what it was? You just said, look at this figure 8.
Okay,
You know
so
what it
this,
actually is and how they get that.
because that's the path that the sun takes throughout the year. Okay, as the sun progresses throughout the sky, it moves in a giant oblong arc. It appears as a figure 8, but it actually is making a giant circle, and it's a little
Do you
concentric.
know how?
So,
All they're doing is taking a picture of the sun at the same time every day.
yeah, well, that's exactly how you realize that the sun is moving, not the Earth, because the stars don't make
How does that?
analemmas. The stars don't make analemmas. The
We
sun
Right.
and the moon.
orbit around. We don't orbit around the stars. That's why there's an analemma. We
No,
don't.
the stars do not move. The Earth does not move. The sun and the moon move, which cause the lights that you see to move with them, because they are moving beneath the firmament. So the stars are lit up when these are near them or away from them. The sun drains the power from the stars the same way that a wireless battery would work. You ever heard of wireless electricity? Same
Yeah.
exact principle.
Okay, you can say that, but how do you prove that? Because everything you're saying is just it's a claim about this is why this
Oh my
and
God.
Okay,
this
let
is
me show you
this.
Welcome
something.
to our world,
Okay,
right?
let me show you something. Let me show you something really quick. It's gonna take 5 seconds. Okay, so I'm gonna set this up right here. You see this little magnet with this fidget spinner has magnets on it? Okay, as I rotate this, it creates a counter rotation. Look, if I go this way, it's going to go that way. Okay, stop it. If I go the other way, it's going to go the other way. See? Look, every way you turn it is going to actually affect it. Now, if I set and put this here and create a relay point between two magnetic fields on this little experiment,
Sorry, hold on.
so I
Sorry.
can't see it. But if I take this magnet and I use this as a relay for that, you will actually see it turns that behind it. Okay. Now, if I just set it there, it doesn't do anything. I have to actually take this
What does this have to do?
to manipulate that. That proves that there is a dielectric current working on, not only with the stars,
How does that
but with the sun and the moon.
prove it?
Because you don't, I have an experiment to show the actual phenomenon. You don't. You can't show me how a ball makes all these things appear like that. You can't.
You
You can
have
sit
a
here and
fidget
say, I
you have
have
a
an
fidget spinner on a
experiment.
that correlate to the sun.
What do you mean?
It's not an
It's yellow.
experiment. Hey, look at this. It's yellow. What? Look at this.
My goodness.
I crush it up in a ball. Look, it's a ball when I crush it from all sides. That proves a globe. What? It's
Oh,
not an experiment that proves what you're saying.
guys, basic trigonometry proves the round Earth, guys. Basic
No, it
trig.
doesn't. No, it doesn't.
Aristophanes was within 50 kilometers almost 3,000 years ago using
Aristophanes
basic
was dealing with the
trigonometry.
fact
Do
of
you
light.
mean
Explain to
round like
me.
a pizza or round like a
Explain to
plate
me.
or round like a coin? I mean, a lot of things
No,
are
man.
round.
You know what we mean.
Four
Oh no,
Explain to
I
me.
don't. We got to be
4
specific around
pi
here.
y squared accurately depicts the surface area of the sphere of the Earth.
You know,
How
math is a
many? How many?
language, right?
Okay, you can tell me all that. How many square miles is the Earth? How many square miles does the Earth contain?
On the surface area,
Yeah.
I could. I mean, that's easy enough to look up, man.
No, you look it up and tell me that. Then tell me what percent of that is water. Then tell me the actual surface area of Antarctica, and then explain that to me how Aristophanes was so right, or whoever did it was so right. And other than some guy writing his book down in the 18th century, there's not a freaking mention of him anywhere.
Facts.
What? What are you talking
Math,
about?
man, basic math.
You realize that math isn't a language the way that English and Spanish, all these other things are.
I'm talking about Latin,
Everything's
bro.
ones and zeros, man.
It's a
I'm talking about Latin, bro.
it is not like it's not a language. It is a it's
Math's
basically
not a
discovered. Was
language,
math
right?
invented or discovered?
Okay.
Yeah, it is. It's the
Math
same
doesn't
every
math
language.
doesn't
Math
explain
is
anything. Math doesn't prove anything. Math is nothing more than an equation that equates to lack of doing any real research or anything else. Because we could come up with
that's not true.
eigenfunction all day. We could come up with Laplace holders. We could come up with 9 million different types of Lie algebra or calculus to determine that the Earth is a moving or a stationary object. But when it comes to actually doing real experiments, like walking out to your local little, okay, everybody's got a road that goes out of town, right? You've got mile markers. You've got mile markers every mile outside of your town. Grab a bunch of
No, no,
twine,
no, no.
make a little rope it's a mile long. It's not that hard. Walk a mile. Walk mile to mile, measure top to top,
Yeah,
bottom to bottom on each one
math
of those
isn't.
signs, and tell me, no, tell me, make sure they're level, and
Yeah,
tell me if there's any, you see any curvature. or you could find where one of those little ropes is off, top to top, bottom to
Trey,
bottom, and that's an 8 foot observer
what
length
you're
too.
what you're explaining is as math is intrinsic. Math has intrinsic value. No matter what
No,
you call
no,
that
no.
mile of
I'm talking.
string, it will always be the same.
No,
Math has intrinsic
no,
value. You cannot take the value that math holds. You cannot change it. It will always be the same. No matter
no.
what, always be
You.
that distance.
I'm not
Yes.
talking about math. I'm talking about getting off ass, walking on feet, down a street, measure top to top, bottom to bottom. That's not intrinsic at all. What is like so?
You're
What is
talking about
so hard to do about that? Everybody could do this in their hometown, and
you're
I
talking about
guarantee you're not going to find 8 inches per square mile anywhere because all those
you're
signs are
measuring
level unless they've been hit. So your math falls
exactly.
apart when you have to get out in the field and do it, right?
No, it doesn't. What you're
Yeah,
saying
it
is
does. Yeah, it does.
what you're saying is measure what level is. No, it doesn't.
Okay, I think you're having a hard time understanding
You
what
measure level at
measurement
two
means
different.
because measurements are not based off of
Okay.
anything in the book. It's always going to be random, right? But we know a mile is 5,280 feet, right? We know that it's it's like 1.7 kilometers or something like that, you know? So we know that. We know that without a doubt. Anybody has kilometer markers, mile markers, wherever you be in the world. You can walk out on a flat plane or a straight road. And you know what? You're even getting lucky because there's a lot of hilly places. I guarantee you measure top to top, bottom to bottom on every one of those. They will be a mile to the T with no curvature
Oh my gosh.
because there is no curvature.
It's about 196 million square miles is the surface area of the Earth.
Right. 75% of that is water. Antarctica is 50 million miles. 50 million kilometers, something like 55 million kilometers. So, how much does that leave for actual continents? Not a lot.
Plenty.
No, it doesn't add up.
Oh my God.
Yeah, that math is wrong there.
Plenty.
Why doesn't it?
Bill Gates, plenty for Bill Gates, I guess.
100%.
I don't know.
I'm actually in agreement with math. I think does have a language, and it does have an intrinsic language as far as like value goes. But I think what $2 was meaning to say is that it's just you can make mathematical equations about anything. It doesn't make it reality. I can give you the equations for a whole entire house. I can say, here's my house, here's the dimensions for it. Here's all the maths, here's the permitting and all that. In the end, until there's actually real, like $2 was saying, getting off your ass, doing the measurement, that's when you can actually verify, if the math is true or not. And and plus, not only that, but just because the math works out doesn't mean that that's the only way that it can work out. Also, that's another big thing to look at. There's many ways, oftentimes, to skin a cat. I'm still wondering why, if we have a set, a globe model, it's been around forever. You guys have been surveying the land and doing all this stuff. Why do we still not know the exact shoreline of any of these continents?
Of course we do. And that's, I mean, to even say that, and just to double
Are you
check your
familiar? Okay,
numbers
so I
there,
can tell you haven't
$2.
done the research then. Are you familiar with the
The
shoreline
surface area
paradox?
of Antarctica is 5.3 million, not 50 million.
I mean,
5.3
Trey,
million?
you agree that math, like we know what a mile
Those
is.
numbers sound a little. That it keeps getting smaller and smaller by like 50 million miles.
No, but seriously,
Actually, I
have y'all
have a.
lovers never heard of the
You
shoreline
can
paradox?
go
Do
to
you
my
not know that
my
we can't measure
second
the shoreline?
fight
I
fight
shoreline
the flat Earth or
But I think
Fight
that
the
has to do
fight.
with what you define as a shoreline, because it can get really in the minutia if you're measuring every little rock and surface area. But I think we can measure shoreline if we simplify the shoreline a little bit.
No, the same. So the same. I'm not even going to bother pulling up the numbers, but the same NOAA. They did three different measurements for the shoreline of America and got three like way different. They're not even close. They're way different. So when you look at stuff like that, and I get what you're saying, it should be very simple. I agree with you. It should be 100% super duper simple to measure the shoreline or measure the area of a known continent. But for
No,
some
it's
reason,
not.
it does not. And when you go to look and try to actually see the raw data of the surveys, you actually see that they buried it. They won't let you see it. So I think that that's pretty suspicious that they won't let us measure the land masses. I think that if we did, probably would see even more inconsistencies with the globe.
Well, when you have like I live in Georgia, the Georgia has some of the most numerous amount of little islands and peninsulas, and depending on how you define what the shoreline is, you can double and triple the length of the shoreline. You can't change the size of the state, but you can increase the shoreline. That's really all that's changing. We're not missing a bunch of land by measuring shorelines.
So I mean, here's the thing, and here's the problem with that. That doesn't make any freaking sense because when you measure the area of something, you have to have the outer perimeter. So if the outer
No,
perimeter is changing, then the area is
no,
also changing.
think about it like this. It's only the beach line. So the area of my hand is very easy to measure. But then we're getting to the beach and these peninsulas. If I measure it like this, it's gonna be weird if the beach goes up to water. But if I measure it like this, it's gonna be like almost twice as long. So depending on where I'm measuring, and you have an island peninsulas, depending on how small,
But it's like all of them. It's not just one or
that's gonna
two.
change my
That would make
my
sense if it was just the areas that you're talking about that are like real curvy and peninsular and stuff, but it's literally all the continents. So again, and even if you're doing all these like maybe a
no,
little bit of different angles here and there, you're not going to get one measurement at like 12,000 and another measurement at 46,000. Okay, we're trying to, for all intents and purposes, you know why we're measuring the shoreline. So if you're giving us something that's more than triple the initial measurement, what use is that? And then if you're all are getting those different numbers, how can you say that you know the area of the place? You can't even get the damn perimeter.
I mean, yeah, maps aren't perfect, but when we're measuring like distance across something and, my state north to south, east to west, we can use that and we can make approximations. But shoreline is just very complicated to measure.
So can we
That doesn't
agree?
change
So,
it.
so here's what I'm getting at then. Can we agree that you guys don't have a 100% perfect map?
No, I don't think anybody has a perfect map. But the fact
Okay.
that you think we're hiding thousands of miles of land is preposterous.
Well,
Shoreline,
mostly
yes, it's
water.
hard to measure.
I think most flat earthers think that that the water is what's being obscured because there's a huge land or a huge area of water over the Pacific that's in the flat earth model much bigger than what it would be on the globe. But it's also weird that we have these anomalies that go when we start getting to the southern hemisphere, if you will, with the Bermuda Triangle and the Devil's Triangle. It's just really weird stuff that happens. How we have problems with navigation and all that stuff, and you have people that have sailed
I don't
over
think
there that say that the oceans are much bigger than what's reported now. So it's just some funny stuff going on.
I don't think the Bermuda Triangle is in the southern hemisphere.
It's like getting towards that way. It's like at the tip of Florida.
Yeah, but that's not even close to the equator, really.
Well, it just widens out towards the bottom. On the flat Earth model, it widens out towards the edge. On the ball Earth, it goes back towards that. So it's not going to be. You're going to have the most difference going towards the southern area.
Yeah, I mean, flight flight plans really just wouldn't make sense to me on a flat model in the southern hemisphere because, like you said, those areas over water are going to be so impossibly far to travel
I'm glad you brought
that
up the
it
flight
wouldn't
paths. The flight paths are
it
actually
wouldn't.
I think one of the really, really good proof for flat Earth because when you actually look at the flight paths, you'll see that they make perfect sense on the flat Earth. they don't make any sense on the globe Earth at all. And the excuse for it is that, well, the popular spots, the planes have to go to where the people are going to be. The planes got to make money. And to that, I'd say, cool story. You're using a hell of a lot of extra gas to go thousands of miles out of the way in some cases. And anytime there's an emergency flight, there's actually a book you can check out called 16 Flight Paths. 16 times in a row, I won't say in a row, I don't know that for sure, but 16 times we have documented emergency landings that make perfect 100% sense on a flat Earth model when looking at the AE projection map, and they make zero sense on the globe Earth considering that it is a emergency landing. They literally, one of them went 500 miles out of the way to do their quote emergency landing, but on the flat Earth map, it's 500 miles closer because it's right in line. So when talking about flight paths, they make a lot more sense on a flat Earth. They don't make too much sense on a ball Earth.
Well, you agree that they want to go the shortest distance to make the most money, not use as much fuel. But on a flat model, like if you're going from like America to Europe, it would make more sense to fly in a straight line, which would be, going over Antarctic or the Arctic. If you're going from one side of the globe to the other, you should always fly over the Arctic because that's a straight line. So no flights do that. They all go,
No, they actually,
west,
the funny
going
thing
around the
is they
globe.
actually do just go like just barely around it. When you look at the flight paths, they actually do like make straight lines just about right to their place. You just have to actually look at the flight paths and follow that because that's something that's
Why
really interesting to see.
why do no planes fly from the southern tip of South America around to the other side?
They do.
Over Antarctica.
They go. They go.
Can you show me one?
They go Chile, Santiago, Chile to like Perth, Australia, or I don't know if it's Perth, but
Yeah, but
they
when you look
do,
at their
and they
flight path,
only
they literally admit that they do this, and their excuse is that they're following the Great Circle Route. So, I mean, if
Right.
you look at the flight
what
paths,
do
we don't
what
even
do
need
you
a
mean?
Great Circle Route. It's just the path.
It's an arc when they show it on a globe map.
They do this. Let me flip my camera. Frick. Let me flip my camera. Let me see if I can zoom in here. So this is what I'm talking about. Chile to Australia. They don't go this way. They don't ever go this way, and that is significantly shorter than going this way.
How do you know which way they
So I
go?
just don't understand.
Because we actually had somebody who was a
Because you
ball
can look
earther that took a flight path with a compass.
from Chile to Australia, they're never flying over the Arctic or over North America. They never do that.
They
Yep,
never fly
they're
over
All
Antarctica
ocean,
either.
all they do sometimes, but it's not really that safe to fly
No,
over Antarctica
no,
because
they
there's nowhere.
don't.
yeah, they
Oh
don't
well,
fly
I
over
mean,
Antarctica. You have to have special permission to go fly in Antarctica, and there's only like one service that has that ability right now, and Barack Obama picked the guy who owns it picked to be the head of the NOAA. So fun stuff there. Globy McGlobe, welcome.
What's up, guys?
I dig the Braveheart
What's up?
icon, dude. That's awesome.
Thank you. Thank you. I think I make a better Braveheart.
Nice.
What's going on? Talking about flight routes, huh?
Yes, sir. Welcome to the discussion.
All right. Well, QF-14 Qantas went from South America over the South Pole to Australia last year. Name one. So saying they don't do that ever is not true.
Could you show us the?
What flight was that?
Yeah.
QF-14. You can look it up on
UF or
huge balls if you're in front of a PC.
what's it called? I can't hear you.
QF-14.
UF.
QF. Is my mic screwed up? QF.
yeah, I can barely hear you.
Really? Hold on. I don't know. Is that any better?
Slightly.
Yeah, one of the it's good that we're talking about this one specifically because I do know that flat earthers have said one of
Are
the
you talking?
good proofs, one of the good things that would prove it is if we went from both different sides of Antarctica and went across that South Pole. You know, because if we went and did something like that, that'd be something that's really hard to deny. And then we could just put some flat earthers on it. You know, put Jeranism on it, put Dearth on it, put some glow people on it as well, and then let the experiment go. You know.
Well, Gear 77 Gear on TikTok is a 747 pilot, and he started a Kickstarter or GoFundMe to charter a 747 over Antarctica for flat earthers, and they did not fund it.
Yeah, last time somebody tried to fund something, a whole bunch of money got stolen, so people are a little hesitant to fund it
Yeah,
to a known
crowdfunding is
go
not
over.
worth it
But
these
the flat
days.
earthers are willing to do that. You know, they're willing to get together. You know, and do a Antarctic flight. It's just it's really really freaking hard and expensive to book one.
I want to show you guys something.
You'd think NASA
Okay.
could slide us a few million
Okay.
just to shut us up.
Okay.
It doesn't care about flat Earth.
How does NASA care about us on TikTok?
Okay. Now let's go to the prime meridian. Bearings. Okay.
So first off, with the flights,
Here's that.
the flight proof bugs me because in order for you to claim that flight routes prove this or that, because you're cherry picking certain ones that have layovers and saying, look, it fits better on a flat Earth. You have to establish first that an airline's goal is to fly direct and save fuel no matter what. You have to establish that. Otherwise, you have no grounds to claim that it makes more sense on a flat Earth, because it's much more complicated than you're making it out. Okay? For example, if they go
Well, yeah, I'm
from
definitely willing to. I'm definitely willing to yield that there's. You know, I'm always open to learning more, and that I don't understand everything. So if there's something that I've missed on the flight paths, I'm definitely open to it. But I don't think that the flat earthers, or at least I don't say it proves it 100%. All I say is that, at least from what I've seen, the flat Earth makes more sense for the flight path. But honestly, the planes can fly, however, on either model. You know, it's the way the planes fly doesn't necessarily determine 100% one way or the other.
Yeah, well, that's kind of what I'm saying. I mean, you can't. It's bad proof for either side because there's more factors in it than an airline just goes straight to its destination and that's it. If that was the case, then yeah, it would be super weird for a plane to go from South America to LA down to Australia. But if
You
they're
see this?
if they're lack,
Look at this. Look. Okay. Look at this. Look. Okay.
I wasn't talking or anything. We'll just look at your
I'm
screen.
sorry. Sorry, bro. Sorry. My bad. I just got excited for like a really stupid reason.
Even better.
Oh yeah.
So listen, if an airline is restricted by the planes they have, right? They don't have enough planes to fly direct everywhere. Okay, they're restricted by staffing.
Hey, I want to apologize in advance. I'm sorry if you're talking, but my phone looks like it might die. I have it charged, but the live just eats the battery so much, so we may have to pick this up tomorrow. Um, but a huge shout out to everybody coming on. I appreciate y'all making the time. I just want to make sure I say this before the live cuts out and y'all wondering what the heck happened.